Alright guys, how's it going? You okay? I'm having a bad week. It's not been a good couple of days, to be honest with you. But I'm still here for now. I'm not my usual jovial self, and yeah, but we're going to crack on with that. I will be hosting a live stream this evening at 6 o'clock, and I'll put a bit more effort in. All right, I'll do my best. So 6 o'clock UK tonight. If you want to come along, I don't want to talk about it, so don't be offended if you come along and I don't know if you ask me something and I ignore you. Do you know what I mean? It's just life, guys. Just the struggles of life. Mason Mount, it seems like Chelsea are pushing, for him possibly to stay. I think that he is a genuine Liverpool target. I think we've discussed this for a long time, going right back to January. I think it was the third week of January, wasn't it, when we spoke about, well, we got wind, didn't we, of, a little sit-down talk between his camp and, let's just say, third-party representatives of Liverpool Football Club. So we know Liverpool have been sniffing around since then. But as I've said to you for the last few weeks or so, I think that if Chelsea offer him what he wants, improve his contract situation, because I think he was the lowest paid, or certainly one of the lowest paid senior players at Chelsea. I think if they pay him what he wants, or maybe they come to some sort of compromise, he stays there. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think if he leaves Chelsea, I think there's a very good chance he would come to us. I don't really see us having much competition on that front, despite all the clubs that you might have seen mentioned with him, and particularly in the last week. One day, I think it was about a week ago, there was all these clubs suddenly interested in him, which is obviously agent talk. But if you look over the last week, you've had the speculation with Liverpool, then all these clubs are suddenly interested in him, and then all of a sudden you've got Chelsea commenting about how they'd like him to stay. You've got Lampard, all right, son. You've got Lampard, saying how important it is that, how he is to Chelsea, and that's one of the things he's working on, trying to get in his head and stuff like that. So it's all like agent stuff, like put the pressure on Chelsea, and then all of a sudden Chelsea are responding. So I know a lot of people think, Mount to Liverpool, that's nailed on. But I wouldn't say that. I genuinely think that if they give him what he wants, he stays where he is. If he doesn't, then we have a real strong chance of signing him. I don't think we'd have to make a lot of effort to make that happen. The problem for me is some of the figures that have been quoted, that Chelsea would be looking for him. And a lot of you guys are saying in the comments, I've got to be honest, this doesn't fill me with a lot of excitement. It's like when we signed Oxlade-Chamberlain, like a few people were like, we're going to get Oxlade-Chamberlain. That was one of the most boring transfers ever for me with Liverpool. And what I mean by that is, it just like, I don't know, it just smelt of Liverpool at the time, and what I mean by that is like just adding numbers, and I don't really think that turned out to be a great bit of business, to be honest. I mean, he's a nice enough kid and that, professional, but the Mason Mount thing is like, I do think he's better than I think some people think, and you've also got to think of how could he be with Jurgen Klopp. What's Remy doing? He's right at the back of my knees, chewing a bone, and he's pushing the back of my knees. And did you ever do that when you're at school and you just tap a mate at the back of his knees and the legs would go? Well, he's doing that behind me. So if you see me fly off, it's Remy. I think he's a decent player. I think he'd be a good addition, me. I think he would be good, lads and lasses. I think when I say lads, I mean I feel like I'm talking to the rest of the players. You know what I'm saying? But no. I think he'd be a good addition, but just not at some of the prices I've seen quoted. The transfer. I mean, like I keep picking up my phone and looking at like social media and stuff. Especially these last couple of days because my heart's not in it right now. I've sort of like been sat around a bit pondering and pacing around and that. And every time I look at my phone, it's just so intense with the amount of transfer rumours, and I really don't like it, to be honest with you. I don't know, it's just like, just all these different accounts seem to be like obsessed with just putting anything out there, you know. And you have to read it, you have to scroll past it to get to the good stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of transfer targets. Well, I won't call them targets, a lot of transfer options out there. And we'll see. I personally think McAllister is the one that Liverpool are focusing all their attention on at the moment. We know there's players like Matheus Nunes, Gravenberch and things like that. I think they're the top three that I can imagine at the moment. But there's so many things happening around, you know, different players that are available, which puts us in a strong position, I think. You know, the worst thing you can do is to, you know, really like identify a player you really want, because then like that, the club, the holding club, the club that holds him or whatever, they're going to try it on, they're going to go, it's not for sale, we want a bit more and all that. So if you think about Liverpool, I think the impression I get through the transfer market at the moment and the reports and everything is that Liverpool are pretty cool. You know, I wouldn't, would you say that you can honestly say from any of the outlets that you read online, whether you consider them credible or speculative or whatever, there's nothing that looks like Liverpool going all in for this player at the moment, is there? Nothing. The one that I see talked about the most is Mason Mount, but I think that's instigated by the agent. And I think I can back that up by the amount of chatter that's come out of Chelsea in the last couple of days suggests that the agent is putting pressure on them and that they think that they might lose him. But if you were to look at all the other players that are linked with us, I would say they're equally covered. Does that make sense? I don't see us mentioned with one player non-stop all the time, which suggests Liverpool are backwards and forwards, back and forth, trying to do something, you know. So I think Liverpool are playing it pretty cool at the moment. Obviously, we've seen chatter of the sporting director, which I think, you know, I said to you that I expect something around now, you know, to be, you know, a little bit positive, a bit nice and stuff like that. Like let the fans think, oh, look, there's something to be positive about. And it's April 26th. I thought that we might see something at the very end of the month, or the very beginning of May. So maybe we'll finally see confirmation on that. But the chatter that I'm seeing coming out, you know, from Jurgen Klopp talking about sporting director and things like that, kind of falls into what I'm looking for, what I'm expecting. So I think we can all just chill at the moment. There's nothing really to be too down about unless you're a Bellingham fan, you know, and you're desperate for him to come to Anfield. But there's nothing to be cheering about either. I think it's just very quiet at the moment. So I'm kind of waiting for something to happen. And I guess that would probably be the announcement of a sporting director. That's about it, really. I did do a podcast the other day, a Cup Talk podcast, which was all right. I enjoyed it, actually. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything groundbreaking on there, to be honest with you guys. Nor on the members' website today. I don't think there's any real buzz around at the moment. Obviously, you know, in fact, somebody was we have what's called the shout box, which is a little chat room, and someone was like, is this broken? Or, you know, is it just so quiet today? And I think it is just so quiet. Obviously, we've got a game. We'll see what happens on that. And we'll have a little natter tonight. You know, I'd love you to come in and join me, 6 o'clock UK tonight, for an hour or two. And yeah, that's it. But all right, guys, I'll speak to you in a bit. I hope you're okay. And let's keep it fair. All right.